So, once again, we're just going to keep a strong re-establishing card, so a Palace Guard that removes one of our opponent's champions and leaves us with a champion in play. And we're going to keep a Draw 2. The rest of these cards are fairly weak, so we're going to get rid of them. So, in this situation, we have Mythic Monster, which instead of being a re-establishing card, is an establishing card. This is a card that's particularly strong to play to an empty board where neither you nor your opponent has anything in play, and while your opponent's gold is up. This is strong because its tribute draw a card means even if our opponent is able to remove it, we still gained value from it. So in other words, it can't be +1 to buy removal, which if you're coming from other card games, is basically an evolution on the idea of dies to removal. But we want cards that, since everything can die to removal, we want cards that even if they do die to removal, we gain something from them. Alright. Our opponent once again did not spend their gold on their turn. Okay. Quell. That means that our opponent probably has a token-based deck. And they probably have a lot of ways to remove our big champions. So I'm just going to play my Courageous Soul, so I have a threat in play without having to spend my gold. And then once again, since our opponent has nothing in play, we want to attack before spending our gold. What's this? Tribute. Your good champions get +4 offense this turn. Ambush Blitz. So, we want to protect our Courageous Soul, so we can use our Banishment to remove that champion on our turn and draw a card. And Shock Trooper. That is an AoE buff as well. Well, it's a tributed AoE buff. Alright. We'll probably play Bitten to draw 2. Ambush, put 3 human tokens into play. Yep. Marshall. Human tokens. Alright. So this is an interesting situation. Since our opponent has Quell effects, killing their 1-cost champions is less likely to have value. But we're still going to go ahead and do it. We could play our Javelin Thrower to kill off one of these human tokens, on the assumption that our opponent is going to pass without spending their gold here. But just in case they do spend their gold, we don't want to play anything else. And we're spending our gold before attacking because we did not have a good attack. Yep. Forced Exile. We're just going to deal 8 to our opponent here. This is looking tricky, though. We need 5 more damage. I don't think we have any more in our deck. So we're mainly looking to draw our standalones now, so we can come back on the board. And seeing how our opponent didn't play anything on our turn last turn, we do want to go ahead and use our Javelin Throwers just to make sure they can't do a massive human token attack. Yep. They banished our 1. Alright, now we're going to use our Flame Strike to kill off the 4-5 so our champions can attack. We're in pretty precarious situation though, since we're low on cards and, oh, there's a standalone, but we'll probably have to use that to draw cards instead. Possibly find our other standalone, but it's a nice safety net if needed. So right now, our opponent is in a situation where if they want to kill any of our guys, they have to use 2 blockers. So we're going to attack. If they double block, we can use Consume to kill one of the human tokens blocking to protect our attacking champion. Alright. This is a little annoying. We want to use standalone to draw cards, but it's our only off-turn play, so unfortunately we just have to play a 6-8 champion. Urgent Messengers is a very strong card, Courageous Soul is a very strong card, but right now we really need to draw cards. Alright, we'll attack. Ooh. So, we'll see how our opponent blocks before we commit any resources. I think that's fine. We could have double consumed it, but our consumes are quite valuable. So we'll just let the trade happen, and then play a Sea Titan, returning a token to hand to get a big guy in play. Alright. We'll go ahead and block. Since our opponent has spent their gold, we can go ahead and use Vanishing to draw 2 cards. And we'll just get hit by the 3 damage. So we'll attack with Sea Titan. Standard Bearer. Alright, at this point, our opponent is very far ahead of us. They have multiple golds worth of champions in play. So after this attack, we're just going to go ahead and Apocalypse to clear away everything. And then we still have a Vanishing to draw 2 off turn. Okay, that's fine. We could put a threat into play with Grave Demon, or we could draw cards. Our opponent still has a ways to go before they deck out. There isn't really any great cards for us to get, though. So, we're just going to get a threat into play. And we'll play our Courageous Soul to try and get some damage through. That's fine. This turn, we have enough in play. We're just going to use Vanishing to draw 2 and hopefully draw something we can play off turn. We did. Excellent. And we have enough threat in play that we're not going to play Forest Giant because we're afraid of a Quell killing off all of our small guys. I just imagined all these tokens as the guards from Oblivion. Stop right there, criminal stone. Basically. Yeah. Palace Guard. Interesting. So we'll draw 2 since our opponent spent their gold. And then we'll pass. And then since we don't have any good attacks right now, we'll go ahead and use our Kong. And then we'll pass while their gold is up. They didn't use it. Forced Exile, that's what I was trying to type. This card is pretty crazy. So... yeah, since we have 2 draw 2 effects, and a Kong in play, and 2 consumes, we're going to go ahead and use our standalone to break all but 1 champion. And then we'll go to turn. And then we'll use our consumes to remove his last blocker in play, while still holding our gold. So our Kong can attack. 3 more humans. Oh, it's just gaining health. Okay. Mobilize. I know that is a card coming in the next set of expansions. Alright. So, with our 13-14 in play, we're pretty strong. We're going to put our Forest Giant in play in case they have another Quell. And then we're just going to draw some cards, since we have plenty of threat in play already. Okay. Since our opponent only has 1 card in hand, we can go ahead and spend our gold before our opponent. Because if they have a board clear, they're at 0 cards in hand, and we're still in a very strong position. And then we'll attack while our opponents attack before spending our gold. I know they're mobilized, but gain health is not what he needed there. What the AI needed there. Alright, so human tokens, tribute AoE buffs for big attacks, human tokens for chump blockers, and for blockers, good enough. Standalone to remove tokens. Diversify. 0 cost and 1 cost threats to bypass Quell. Draw cards. So AI runs out first. Yep. So that's basically under arrest. A lot of human tokens that can make it hard for you to deal damage. And a lot of removal so they can get very far ahead on board. So basically, another thing is standalone to remove tokens, possibly hold for off turn. Turn in case of emergency. But the big one is, to win this one, is draw a lot of cards. Because our opponent has a lot of removal, if we don't keep drawing cards, we'll run out. But since we kept on drawing cards, our opponent ran out, and then we were just able to beat them down, eventually, once they were completely out of cards. It took a while, but we got there.